You don't need to spend a lot of money to enjoy some of the best games on the GameCube. Whether you have an old one lying around or you bought one cheaply. A great game to start with is Beautiful Joe, which has a low price on the used market, and a fun gameplay style. But be careful, some GameCube games are very rare and expensive, so completing your collection might cost you a lot. The Fire Emblem series was originally exclusive to Japan, but Nintendo decided to bring some of its core titles to the English-speaking market due to a lack of game releases. If you like the Fire Emblem series, you'll enjoy Path of Radiance. It's a fantasy role-playing game with a turn-based combat system, and it keeps most of the features of its predecessors. If you're new to it, you should know that Path of Radiance has a lot of text, and most of the story is told through conversations between characters, not cutscenes. If you're not into reading while gaming, this is not for you. Path of Radiance was the 9th game in the Fire Emblem series, but only the 3rd one to come out in the United States. You take on the role of Ike, who, with his friends, must battle evil forces to save the world. The game was well received when it came out, and the series is still popular nowadays, making it very rare. Nowadays, you'll have to pay $200 for the game on the resale market, and even more if you want the box and the manual. Chibi Robo is a game by Bandai, where you control a tiny robot in a third-person perspective. You are Chibi Robo, a 4-inch tall helper who lives in the Sanderson household. Your mission, and the mission of all Chibi Robos, is to make people happy by doing chores around the house. You'll wipe off dirt or collect garbage. Being a domestic robot is so much fun. That's how the game starts, at least. But soon, you discover that the Sandersons have some secrets, and their home is not what it seems. As the game goes on, things get more and more bizarre. You'll try to fix the Sandersons' troubled marriage while meeting aliens, going back in time and fighting off the evil Spydors. The game has 4 sequels for the Nintendo Ds and 3DS, which may have helped it remain popular, even though the original game is hard to find. Go. Hypergrind is a surreal game, but it really existed. The game was made with the help of Spumco, the animation studio that created the Ren Stimpy show. The style is obvious in the art direction. The characters, the world, and even the font look like they belong to the notoriously rude Nickelodeon cartoon. That might attract some fans, but this game is even stranger than that. The game also features the Spumco Animation Studio as part of the plot, and they're looking for actors for a new cartoon called Go, Hypergrind. You are a cartoon character who wants to get a part on the show, and you have to show your cartoon skills by skateboarding. Your objective is to go into cartoon situations and cause as much comedy chaos as you can, earning points by doing combos, all with the aim of becoming the star of the show. It's a mix of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater and Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which explains why it was so popular. If you wanted to play it now, you'll have to pay a lot. It usually sells for $400 or more on the resale market. You probably already know this one. You've been familiar with basketball since you were a child, and this is not much different. Except now, your favorite sports stars have been miniaturized, digitalized, and put inside your TV like they won a ticket to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. As the title implies, in NKA College Basketball Twook 3, you control some of the top players in the sport from 2003. What makes this game stand out among GameCube collectors is it was the only game in the series that came out for the console. In fact, it was the only college basketball game of any sort that came out for the GameCube. So if you want to play college hoops on your GC, this is your only option. Sadly, getting it is not a simple task. Because of its rare status in the GameCube library, it is still in high demand on the secondary market, with copies selling on eBay for around $600. Phantasy Star Online is a game that debuted on the Dreamcast and was later re-released for the GameCube with more content under the name Episode 1-2. It had the original game as well as a new story mode called Episode 2. You take on the role of an explorer who lands on the mysterious planet of Ragel. You are part of the crew of the Pioneer 2, a colony ship that follows the Pioneer 1. However, when you try to reach the Pioneer 1, something goes wrong and you have to deal with it. The GameCube version added online multiplayer features, but it was not easy to type messages with the GameCube's excellent controller. Even with this drawback, it is one of the most sought-after and expensive games in the market, and sealed copies can cost thousands of dollars. In the early 2000s, Konami made a deal with Disney to use some of its characters in Konami games. The company took advantage of that license to produce a series of sports games starring famous Disney characters. In just 1 year, they launched games featuring football, soccer, skateboard, and basketball, all under the Disney Sports brand. In Disney Sports Basketball, you compete in 3 matches. You can pick from Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Huey, Goofy, and Max, and each character has their own skills that let you adjust your play style. Disney Sports Basketball received mixed feedback, but it delivers what it promises. Disney characters playing basketball. You can easily find the football, soccer, and skateboarding games for $30 to $100 on the resale market. But if you want to complete your set, you will have to pay around $1,000. You have to decide how much you really want to see Mickey slam dunk on Donald. The Resident Evil series began on the PlayStation in 1996, but soon expanded, almost like a lab-made virus, to other consoles including the Nintendo GameCube. For the series' 10th anniversary, the game creators launched a collector's bundle that included some of the most popular games from the first 10 years. The bundle had a remake of the first Resident Evil, and also Resident Evil 0, and also Resident Evil 4. It should be obvious that the bundle is not complete of the whole series until then, but it's a good way to begin if you've never tried the series before, or if you're just looking to complete your collection. The only real issue is that copies are rare and used copies are expensive. They usually sell on the secondary market for around $600. It's a bit more bearable than some other costly games because you're getting 3 for the high price of 1, but that's still going to take a zombie bite out of your wallet. Pikmin is one of those uncommon franchises that is almost a money-making machine. Fans of the series are very likely to return for the gameplay and world they enjoy. Pikmin 2 improved on many aspects of the original game, while also introducing new features such as a second captain. This enabled you to manage 2 teams of Pikmin as they perform different tasks simultaneously. It enhanced the play experience by eliminating a lot of the idle time. You take the role of a captain leading your faithful Pikmin troops as they solve puzzles, collect treasures, and conquer dungeons. Pikmin 2 came out for the GameCube in 2022, but was not released in the US on that console, increasing its demand among North American gamers. It would later arrive in the region on the YEA in 2012, but the GameCube version can only be bought second. And nowadays, sealed or graded copies of Pikmin 2 sell for between $750 and $1,325. Cubivore. Survival of the Fittest is a game that combines action and adventure, developed for the GameCube in 2002. You take control of a cubivore, a cube-shaped beast that lives in a world where nature is fading away. Your mission is to devour other cube animals and avoid being preyed upon. The gameplay involves fast, paced and strategic battles in a 3D environment. As you eat more, you will evolve and grow into different forms with new abilities. You will also climb up the food chain and face the killer cubivore, the ruthless ruler of the land. The game is a fun and simple representation of natural selection, but the graphics are not very impressive for its time. Cubivore is a rare and unique game that has attracted many collectors over the years. Nowadays, it can cost more than $700 to buy a second-hand copy.